Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? In this episode, I'm going to be breaking down what it means to be a fragger. And we'll be talking about the characteristics, early game, mid game, end game, common and advanced stuff like that. And hopefully you guys enjoy this type of video. So the general definition of a fragger is to get kills for your team. A fragger has to have the best fighting skills and aim. Get kills and you get points for your team. That's kind of the idea. So fraggers in the past tend to be players that spent the majority of their time in creative. They'd be playing, box fights, zone wars, PGs, and realistics. Nowadays, the common fraggers play those as well. A little less on the PGs and the realistics, more of just box fights and zone wars. But they spend most of their time, if they're not practicing with their trio, W keying in arena. That's because arena is the best way to practice the current meta because you get, you're playing the game. You get to practice mechanical parts and all that stuff. So if you want to be a fragger, I do zone wars, box fights, PGs, and realistics when you're just warming up or after you've done your arena and you just want to chill, practice W can, and then also do that in an arena. So let's talk about early game fragging and what that means. So fraggers early game should be the first one to land. So wherever you're landed, they should be the first one to touch the ground. That's because they need to get loot as quick as possible, either fight with that loot or help their teammates or just keep looting up. They should also be landing on a spot within the POI that is closest to the enemy. So the idea is that if the enemy is on the far right corner, they would land in the middle and you have your two teammates supporting you. So the team would push them first and then they would know how to fight because they're fraggers. So they'd be more comfortable taking a 1v1 or 1v2 early game, and then their teammates would come and support them. They should also be landing on a spot that has the most loot in the POI if they're able to get it. So the idea is, land in Treehouse and Pleasant because that has 3 chests. Land in Doghouse and Holly because that has 3 chests. Land in Hotel and Sweaty because that has the most chests and the most ground loot. Or land in God Chest or whatever your guys' goal is. Not only that, they should also be given the best loot from their teammates. Because the whole point of the fragger is they get kills and they get points for your team. And the idea is because they have the best fighting mechanics and aim in your trio, they should also be given the best tools in order to get those points. So, give them a spaz and a scar, a spaz and a blue AR, whatever it is, just to help them win their ones so they can quickly help the rest of the team. They should also be given quick heals. And quick heals is something like heals or shields that can be popped quickly because, they want to be fighting constantly, so they don't have to wait 5 seconds to pop a big, unless that's all you have. So quick heals would be floppers, minis, slurpfishes, shieldfishes, jellyfishes, stuff like that. But, if you don't have any of that, then bigs will work. So mid-game fragging, this really depends on, the team, but usually fraggers should be constantly keeping their eyes open for teams that look like they might be in shambles or looking for 3-2-1/beams. So the idea is that the fragger is the one that calls out, okay, let's fight this team over there. They look like they're in shambles, they're upgrading, they only have makeshift, they didn't shoot at us, they're basing up in wood, whatever. So they would call out that because they're so used to fighting people and pushing people that they're able to recognize when a team or a player is in shambles, and that's how they can capitalize on that. They should also be looking to call out 3-2-1s and or beams. So a beam is just like when one sole player cracks another. They can also make storm surge tags as well, depending on their input. If they're on controller, long range is harder to hit, so maybe not. But if they're on keyboard and mouse, then they can definitely look for surge tags as well. On the topic of 3-2-1s and beams and shambles, mid-game, because fraggers, like I said, are so used to fighting and know when a team should be shambles or not, they are able to actually call out and make a power play and call out, let's push this team. They're going to be weak. We can win this. So, because fraggers have to be aggressive, they have to be smart, and they have to have confidence in themselves. And if you have confidence in yourselves, then you play 100% better. Even if you're not even that good of a player, you'll still play better than normal. So they can make plays. That's a myth that they can't make plays and they're just these like brain dead W keyers that just want to fight. They can also make plays and stuff like that. Now it is the IGL's job to agree or disagree with it and say, okay, no, let's rotate to zone. Remember that team that just rebooted behind us? They're going to third party us. Or they're going to be like, actually, this is a great fight. There's no one around us. Let's take it. So endgame fragging. So fraggers during the endgame should be playing at the back of the tarp. So if we have a tarp down, say we have 3 tiles, we have the IGL or the tarper at the front, we have the support in the middle or the IGL depending on who's tarping, and then the fragger in the back. And the point of that is that the fragger should constantly be looking on the sidewalls, the floor, and the roof for any peeks or kills on nearby players rotating. That's number one they should be looking for constantly. But they also should be keeping up with their team. You don't want to be, your team is at front side zone and you're like mid zone or at the end of zone. Because somebody can sneak into your tarp in between you and cut you off and then you're fucked. You want to make sure you stay with your team, but also you're looking for stuff like that. So the point of being a fragger is to find a refresh. And what a refresh is that when you kill an opponent, you get all their loot, you get their materials, you get their heals, and that's a refresh. It refreshes your team's loot. So you want to be able to get that refresh back to your tarper or your IGL. So you can either do that by carrying the body back, so bind and pick up body to a quick bind, throwing them back in the tarp, calling out to your team, hey, I got a body, come back here for hard mats or whatever. Capped out on mats, something like that, and then you go up and you split your mats, or you give all your mats to your tarper, and then you continue on your way. Or you can just kill the guy in the tarp, get the loot, and run out. So if your tarper or your IGL runs out of hard mats, it is the fragger's job to find a refresh to refill his materials. That's your whole purpose endgame, is to find refreshes constantly. But as well, fraggers are also in charge of watching out for people pickaxing your tarp, getting any tags on teammates or on enemies nearby, maybe even looking for height by knocking / beaming an opponent. So to break that down, because you're also looking for peaks and stuff, you can also look for people who are trying to get into your tarp. So if you see someone pickaxing your wall, you can say, oh, they're trying to get in back here, and you can block it off and keep going and keep your eyes open for them because they might be in your tarp. So keep blocking off with hard mats, keep going on your way. And when I mean looking for height, usually it's not your job to look for height if you're a fragger. But if you guys are good on mats, you guys are good on loot, you're good on shields and everything, it wouldn't be that bad just to take a glance up at height and see how it is. Okay, you can call it, okay, they're only on wood, they aren't connected to anything. Let's crank up there. Okay, I just cracked 2 of them on height. Let's rip. They're gonna be healing. Okay, I knocked 1 on height. Let's rip up like they're healing. Or it's a 2v3 or something like that. So don't be afraid to go for those height plays if your team currently is already in a good position. So this one's, I think, is pretty important too. So fraggers' communications, or their comms, especially in endgame, should primarily be focused on anything relative to getting refreshes or information as, if you're 3-2-1 in a team, you're triple spraying, you can call out your tags like that. But if you're just people running by and you just crack somebody for like a 60 when you're running, there's no point to call that out. So really just should be anything in the forms of getting a refresh. So you have someone boxed, they're pickaxing into your tarp, you have a dead body on me, something like that. Or you have full mats, etc., hard mats, whatever. Now on to some general and advanced characteristics of fraggers. The fraggers must have incredible awareness and piece control. They must be able to recognize when you have a free edit or a free refresh nearby, and it is crucial that they're able to do that for being the best fragger, especially in an endgame. So fraggers must also be aggressive and have confidence in their fighting ability and their aim. However, they must also know when to play passive aggressive and slow down their fighting, especially in cases where your team is far away and they're not able to come to your aid. You don't want to be hopping into a trios box when your team is like 30 seconds out, because they won't be able to support you and help you out. You want to play slow, go for tags and stuff. If you end up knocking one, then still play slow, stop the res, stuff like that. The fraggers must also be able to end the fight as quick as possible. This is very important. Usually this entails ending year 1, because usually in trios what happens is, unless they're boxed up, everyone kind of goes off and fights their 1. So fraggers must be able to end their 1 as soon as possible, and then to come back and help the rest of the team, because then it's a 3v2 or a 2v1 on one guy, and then you guys kill him and go help your other guy out. That's kind of the idea. The fraggers must also have the awareness to realize that finishing year 1 might be less important than coming to the aid of a teammate and saving their life. So the idea is that if you're fragging and I'm fighting my 1 and I'm getting very low on health and I'm like, I need help, and the other guy goes, I can't help you, I'm fighting, and you realize that you have a split second where you can turn around and come back and help me instead of finishing your 1. That might be better, because if you think about it, they're fighting their 1, and if you leave and the person you were fighting doesn't calm that you left and you went somewhere, you might be able to sneak up on the other guy, kill him, and make it a 3v2, which you guys should win. So how to practice fragging. I talked about this in the beginning a little bit, but I'll just cover it again. Box fights, zone wars, PGs, and realistics. Practicing your W key and skills and your aiming and getting all that warmed up. Practicing new stuff like that. Solo arena, practicing landing at your POI, so wherever you're landing in trios, with the best drop, getting the best loot, and having quick heals. And then smartly W key in the remaining lobby. Practicing your fighting skills, your aiming, you're reading patterns, you're getting in, ending the fight as quick as possible, and then VOD reviewing what went wrong when you died. Very important. So the overall definition, so this is like the very general concept, is a fragger must be someone that has insane mechanical skills and is comfortable and confident in high-stress fighting scenarios. They must have the awareness when to slow down the fight or to aid their teammates. Most importantly, fraggers must know how to end the fight as quick as possible. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Next video will be about IGLs and then tarpers, and then I might make a short video to get more people to come in. The short videos, my last short video fucking blew up. I might do a short video on the movement one, and if you see that again, then you can just give it a like or don't bother. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Let me know how you like this. The background information is just me playing Arena and Realistics. And yeah, cheers.